Okay, this is where I'm located, in Hernando County, Florida, at a place called Bayport, and this is the Fishing Pier area. They have a secondary little park a little bit further back to the north. It has a boardwalk with an aluminum, well, it's all made out of aluminum boardwalk, and it's hidden behind a lot of trees. It's not really a very good place to observe. You actually have to get out by the water. Um, but I thought it was important to show my location, and you can also see where my camera is positioned in this video. Even though I think later on when it started raining, I folded the tripod up and I placed it on top of the picnic table. I'm not positively sure, but I usually do that if it starts raining, because even sitting at the edge, the water will pour down on my camera. So I, I think it's important that we show the location. Don't have the exact camera height, but I know my camera sets up at 5 feet. The water was out a little ways. So if I take into consideration that and my camera height, I'd say the water is down about 3 to 4 feet. So I'm up about 8 to 9 feet off the water in this particular location. Even when I go up on the picnic table, it actually lowers me down just a tad bit. Here shortly, you're going to see where my camera is located. I'm under the little picnic table roof, and yes, it is raining out there on the horizon, and this is why doing these observations during good conditions and bad conditions are good for me, because I see different mirroring effects that occur. And I also think that the illuminated horizon, the sun lighting up the sky, is also plays a role in this mirroring effect occurring. I mean, you can see right there how calm the water is at this point. But throughout my observation, you'll see how that water will change drastically, and these different layers that occur will also create different effects also. So again, I'm just putting this out there for people that want to watch, um, and learn. If not, that's fine. I'll be wasting my time doing this video. But again, um, these are my personal observations that I'm putting out there to let everybody else watch. You may not agree with me 100% on some of my explanations, but that's fine. Again, I'm just putting this out there for everybody to decide for themselves. You be your own judge. I'm not trying to make anybody believe anything. My observations, I think, speak for themselves. So I just let them do the talking. And I don't think I'm going to interrupt this one at all. I'm just going to play all the audio, natural audio, everything. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. Billy Steele's rack. Bill Watts.
There's Fiddler's Point. And we're going to pan this horizon. See the mirroring still happening on that. And Billy Steels is in the mirror. Find anything of Cutter's Rock here. I doubt it. Alright, come on, get it in there. Dang it. Thing's tight. Not quite as much mirroring today because you can see it sitting in the water. That's in the mirroring line, or the mirage line. Just about blended in, you can't tell. Even my trees out there in the water visible, no mirroring. There's where I get it. There we go. Bayport bird rack in the mirror. Let me show you the sky. storage rack out there at Bayport. Yeah, trying to fill my screen here. Not easy to do. Get. Let me back out a little bit here and show you this. Far out he's gonna go. Let's see if we can follow him here. He hits the mirage line. So it started raining out there. Sure did. I bet you he's going to turn around and come back. Maybe not. Look at that, going into the rain. And it looks like it's raining hard out there too. Holy crap. Let me change the battery. Rain, rain, rain. Let's see if we can't get over here. Where it ain't raining so much. guys are nuts going out there. Boom booms are out. Billy Steels. Bill Watts.
Just trying to get a fishing license ain't worth shit.
Yeah, they don't make it easy. Find him. There's a manatee right there with a big scar on him. Might pop up here. He's got one hell of a scar on him because it's white as it can be. See if he pops up. Shows himself. Come on, big guy, come up and take a breath. Move.
the licensing?
Let's take a breath here. You see him wake in the water. There he is. I'm not going to be able to get him. Getting into the light. There's going to be bobber. Might get lucky and get a lightning strike out there. There's another boat. At least it ain't windy. There's a boat way over here. Let's see if I can catch him. Here comes the rain. Hoping my camera's not going to get wet, but it probably will. Where did that boat go? Alright. Hopefully this plastic bag will save me. If not, I might have to move my camera. Yep, I'm gonna have to move my camera, folks. Hopefully I didn't get some water on my screen here. I gotta get a wipe and wipe it. Quick little rain. And it's gonna be on and off. Little thunderstorms here and there. Boats are turning around, coming back. It's like a liquid mirror, people. Anything in it sinks in it. He isn't. He's going out. Another boat going out too. only have 2 minutes and 48 seconds. I'm gonna stay with it. Look at this real quick if I can. Zoom out. People are nuts going out there during these rainstorms. Lightning can come out of nowhere and get your ass. My battery's showing low, so it might shut off on me. And he shuts down and sinks into the mirror. Wow. Pretty obvious to me. I'll get my other tripod out and put my other camera on it and set it up here.
Okay, I want to say this in the video. Although it's raining, rain is water, of course, and then when we are looking through, miles and miles of, atmosphere, there's water in it. And even though my mirroring is at a, the visible water line is at a closer range to me than on days where I have good visibility, this water line extends much further out. But still, like I say, you cannot escape this mirroring effect. So what happens is the boat doesn't start mirroring itself until much further out there, which on a smaller angular resolution perspective, right, as the boat gets further out, it gets smaller. The mirroring effect occurs again out there, and the same thing is occurring. As this water does, it helps create this mirroring effect, and it's at a much closer distance to me where the mirror starts. So when a boat gets farther out there on a, say, a day of good visibility, you still cannot escape this mirroring effect. So everything changes when you're further out. This mirroring effect actually causes a compression of your objects, boats, buildings, everything, and it seems to just suck it down. Even though it's a smaller strip of mirror, it's still, that smaller strip of mirror is miles of mirrors, so it actually acts differently than this mirror that's up close. As you see the mirroring up close on this water directly in front of me, it kind of smears and drags and stretches what's being mirrored above. But when you're further out and that mirroring is on just a very slim sliver of a mirror, it actually compresses objects. And I want to make that clear too, that this mirroring of the sky off the water, that's what blends the sky into the clouds. And again, it actually pinches off the true horizon. The true horizon is literally under the mirror, and it's like a liquid mirror. It's almost like pouring liquid mercury over the top of the water, and it creates this slow ramp-up effect. Depending on the mirroring, if it's heavy mirroring, that ramp-up effect goes way out there. If it's less mirroring, it's further out. The mirroring starts much further out, miles out. But again, it's a different type of mirror. It's more of a compressed mirror instead of a stretched out mirror. That's why this concave convex mirroring comes in, because again, you're looking at different distances of a mirror. A mirror directly in front of you compared to a thin sliver mirror much farther away, okay, on good days of visibility. I hope I made that clear. I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of times when you see me not moving this camera, I'm using my other camera filming stuff a little closer, or filming some other distant object. Alright, and I have a little bit of footage of that I'll share too, if anybody even watches this video, because this is going to be like over 3 hours long. But I'll tell you, it's got a lot of good observations. Anybody with the eyes and ears can see what's going on. And there is no curvature. It is an illusion of a curvature.
Rain up underneath this little covered picnic table I was sitting on. Here it coming. Can't believe some of these boats are going out.
Yeah, well, this is like it. It's almost stopped, you know.
Yeah, it's almost done out there.
I don't see very many more clouds coming in right at the moment.
No, there's some big clouds out there though.
Maybe I should have got some bait instead of trying to throw livestock, you know. Lures, jigs, scampies.
I like fake bait.
What?
I said I like lures and fake bait
Oh, yeah.
over live bait.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I do a lot of snook fishing, and
That's one thing I haven't thought They wanted $600 for all these things to go get tarpon. I said, no, I don't need tarpon that much.
I hear ya. I've been out in my own boat and hooked onto some tarpon, but I only fish with 8-pound test. Biggest fish I caught on 8-pound test was a 48-inch cobia.
Oh yeah?
Took me about 45 minutes to get him into the boat.
Yeah, I use 12 here.
That's all I use, 8-pound. I give the fish a chance to either win or lose.
Well, 8 pounds will hold them, you know, as long as you got your
drag set right. Yep.
Right, you know.
Yep. And that's what I go by. Go by that drag setting.
Yeah, yeah. The largest one I got on a 50-pound braid. It was a 120-pound yellow.
Up the lightning better with a time lapse, and you could not hear. I mean, even though you could see the booming and the lightning, you could not hear the thunder. And it was really strange, you know, because usually you expect to hear at least the thunder, but you couldn't even hear the thunder. Go off a little bit more again.
During this sped up footage right here, basically you can kind of see the stretching and compressing that is occurring during this mirroring effect. This observation really kind of shows how things get kind of compressed and squashed, and you could see that, I think, more in that first portion that I sped up 3 times. And yeah, every now and then somebody will bump the table, or the wind will blow the table, bump my camera, and I'll get a little jolt. But you know, these are the observations and these smaller details that you really do have to pay attention to when making these types of observations. I mean, all I'm doing is giving you another reason or another explanation of why objects you know, vanish on the horizon. But you know, visibility does play the big role in what we see. And when you have less of this mirroring effect occurring, of course, we can see much, much further than what we are supposed to, or what we've been fed to believe. You know, we're told by science that it's refraction that's pulling it up. And I'm saying basically that it is not refraction pulling it up. It's actually this mirroring effect causing things to get compressed, squashed, stretched, and pulled down within that mirroring effect. It actually is a ramped up mirror. It gradually rises and it cuts off the true horizon or the true water line. All right, and that's my explanation, and I'm sticking to it.
We do have, I don't know, I've only been down here about 5 days maybe, and I decided to do a little fishing. And but I have found out,
If you're a veteran, you shouldn't need a fishing license.
I'm not a
Resident?
resident. I don't much care. Hey, I'm here on vacation.
Shouldn't matter if you're a resident or not, man. If you're a veteran and you protected our country,
Yeah,
screw their
that's
ass.
a ticket, but it doesn't work that way. They say. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I hear you. It's another way to bleed your back pocket. I just call it legalized extortion. Let's see. I'm gonna lose my focus. Look at that mirror line now.
Yes, legalize extortion by our governments. Don't forget, people, you're playing their game. You're playing the elite's game. You think the government works for you? No, they create laws to create money. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need to have laws or police. What I'm saying is that we don't need to have these frivolous laws that extort money out of our pockets, which just keep knocking humanity down, down, down. You know, they want to take money for some little fine or something that you do wrong. You know, they figure hitting you in the back pocket is the way to do it, but it's not. That's not the way that these laws should be set up and our Constitution should be set up. This is for the people. We, the people, people, don't forget about it. We rule. We have more control than what they want us to believe. They make these laws to hurt us, not help us. Yes, some laws are made. They're good laws. But these frivolous laws are hurting us. I mean, you know, they are all corporations. Your judicial system, and a lot of other things are basically corporations. They make money off of us because they need to make the money. Why? So they can pay these people high salaries for doing jack shit but extorting us. You know, again, some laws are good. There's good cops, there's bad cops, but we need good laws for us, not them.
Mother Nature's talking to us. Why are we telling the truth? The hell out of Dodge.
I actually wasn't going to do much talking in this video, but you know, I want to bring to your attention these things right here. I mean, where people think that the true horizon is not where you think it is. Again, this mirroring effect plays a big role in what we're seeing. And, you know, man, if you don't, again, take the time out to really observe and pay attention to all these details, you totally miss it. The actual water line at that bird rack is at one point, and the water itself extends well beyond. But again, this mirroring effect causes everything to mirror everything above. Like the real object is sitting on the top. The bird rack is the real bird rack at the top, and then the reflection of the bird rack is below. Same way with the boat, and anything that, you know, gets out to that certain distance that starts distorting, that's another thing. Distortion plays another big role in how we're seeing what we're seeing and how it reacts to that horizontal plane, the real horizon. You know, these boats get distorted and become a big blob and vanish within that blob, within its own reflection. Now, on days of good visibility, I can go out here and watch boats go well past this bird rack. I mean, I've actually gotten them so small, um, and this was actually one of the shrimp boats out there with its rigs out on each side. The boat was so small, it was way littler, way smaller than this bird rack. It was under the bottom rung. Um, and that's what I tried to show people, that, you know, this visible water line also is a little bit of a deception, because the boat, even though it was much further out there, it was way down low. And this is part of that compression that occurs, that compresses that whole horizon line down into this little sliver. And I think that that also plays a role in maybe displacing it, just like it displaces our sun. And it's not being displaced upward, it's being displaced downward, or it's being drugged down by these mirroring effects. And again, my explanations are for people that really want to learn about why us flat earthers think it's flat. Okay, I'm all about observational footage, observational proof, and this is observational science. I am persistent. I'm going to continue to post videos like this, the birds, the crab traps, the boats, even planes, stars. Everything gets trapped in this mirror, and it does react to how we actually see the horizon and where the horizon actually is. If that horizon is hidden, how do you know where it's at? You know, again, days of good visibility give you more of an idea, but you can never get past this distortion. Um, the atmospheric conditions will always eventually create the same blind that you're seeing right here in front of you at a close range at a much further distance. In other words, you have this mirroring effect occurring close, and then on days of good visibility, although you can see much further, you get the same effect out there farther on the horizon. That's why everything gets pinched off and goes to that vanishing point. It's also being sucked in with the mirror, just like that concave convex mirroring that I did as an experiment. And I used that to show that this is what we're seeing. We're not seeing curvature. We're seeing the illusion of a curvature. We're seeing the illusion of a sunset. Everything. And the sunset to me is the grand illusion, because a lot of people, average people, including myself, would say that that is proof that the earth is curved, but it's not. They want to tell you that the sun is being refracted upward at a certain point, but when is that point when you can actually watch it and observe it with your own eyes? You can film it like I have many times, and it never, how should I say it? It never refracts back up. It never bounces back up into your vision. It gets cut off. And then if you watch some videos of mine, you can see that reflection come up, and then the sun just vanishes within its own reflection. On days of good visibility, you see the sun react differently. Why? Because that mirroring effect is occurring at a much farther distance than right here. If the sun was to set here or appear to set here, it would have this major mirroring effect occur. And I do have a video that shows that I don't think I ever put out on the internet or ever put out on YouTube. And I've been looking for it again, and I can't find it. It might be on my my 2 terabyte hard drive. I've got a docking port with 2 4 terabytes in it, but I can't put a third one in. So I have to pull one of those out and put that one in, and then you know, go through them files. But I've got 3 years. Well, actually, I lost one 2 terabyte hard drive, so I would have had 3 years and 12 terabytes of hard drives. I lost my very first one, which lost a lot of vacations and everything else, which was kind of tough. All right, I'm going to take the rest of this and speed it up 3 times 2 to cut back on some of the time. I personally think that the horizon is somewhere around where the arrow is, but that's my personal opinion. This part here too is also sped up 3 times the speed. And again, you know, you look where the actual bird rack starts to mirror at. It's all blending in. It's all being compressed right there. And this is another reason why people should look into that compression more, and not just think that that's where they see that visible water is actually where the real water line is, because like I said, that's a mile away from me at 10 feet up, or 8 feet, somewhere there, 8, 9 feet. That just cannot be, right? Just can't be.
Look at this. Not starting to mirror. Look at that. Getting out of my range.
Alright, some people may wonder why I just kind of sit on some of these observations and don't move my camera around that much. Um, One of the reasons why is because basically I use these to study, check everything out. Like I said before, I watch for all these details. And when you're looking at this right here, you see this mirroring. So you just have this blend at a certain point where the sky is just blending into that mirror. And that's the hard part is trying, especially on this particular day, is where is the true horizon line. Now somebody might want to say that it is the visible water, but you've just seen that visible water move quite a bit, and now that you can see where this visible water is, how this is blending in to the mirror. So it just blends right into the mirror, and what you're seeing out there is waves. The water is a little rougher out there, and you can tell by that boat bobbing up and down that it's rougher out there than it is closer to me. I'm in an area where there's a little bit of a windbreak. Out there they're taking all the wind, and it's rocking their boat. But you can't see the waves and swells out there. You can only see them to a certain point. And that's where I was saying that when a boat gets out to a certain point, these waves become invisible, actually become the mirror. And within that mirror, it's hiding within its own reflection. And this is something hard for, the average everyday person to see. And that's why I think this particular observation is a very good one, because it does allow you to see this, well, what would you call it? Transition from the water to the mirror. That's what I would call it. It's just a transition from water to mirror. And you can see it plain as day in this observation. Now, again, when you get a day where the visibility is good, I can see boats much, much further past this bird rack. And again, this bird rack is 3.5 miles from my location. You can check it on Google Earth. I've already put up a website with the waypoints. And I guess I could try to put up another video with the waypoints, or put a link into the Hernando County waterways. If you just type that into Google, you'll come up with all the locations for the bird racks. When you hit that page, just scroll down, and it'll tell you all the waypoints to all these racks. And again, this is the Bayport entrance rack. It's a beacon light. This is for people that are out there fishing offshore or even inshore to know where the channel is. Once you find the channel at night, then hopefully you got a spotlight that you can light up the channel markers on your way back in, because as you've seen in some of my videos, when the tide goes low, there is a lot of rocks that stick up. And believe me, one time I ruined a whole boat by coming in at night and not having the proper equipment. Thought I was in the channel, hauling ass, wide open, and I hit rocks. Not only did I tear the motor up, but I put a hole in the boat. I thought we were going to sink. I was driving the boat while a friend was bailing, and we were sending up flares and everything. Finally, some nice gentleman with a pontoon boat did pull me in while my brother-in-law and I, we bailed the crap out of the boat so we wouldn't sink. We finally get back to the dock, and there was a helicopter flying over. We get back to the dock, and of course there's police, Marine Patrol, FWC. They're all there, and the first thing they want to do is check my boat. And I was like, well, can you let me get my boat out of the water before it sinks right here? Otherwise, if I don't get it out of the water, it's going to sink. And what they wanted to check for was alcohol. and I had no alcohol on my boat at all. Zero, zip, none. Mountain Dew cans and sodas. That's about all we had out there at that time. So, you know, there was no fine written or anything. It was just an accident that happens. But it was my fault because I went out there unprepared for being out at night. Wasn't expecting to be out that long. You know, we went offshore, went out about 4 or 5 miles, turned around and started coming back in, and it just got dark quick on us that day. There was a lot of clouds in the sky on the western horizon. So, of course, when that sun went behind those clouds, it just darkened everything up. And basically, the Bayport Bird Rack light wasn't on, nor was that halfway marker light on. Both lights were out. So, in turn, I couldn't find the channel. And I should have slowed down and found it first before attempting to just blast my way into shore. But unfortunately, that's what happens. Now, as I'm talking here, you're watching this this water actually get calmer and calmer out further offshore, and you see less and less of those waves rising up to get out of that mirror. Matter of fact, they're just about gone, so you don't see much of anything out there except for mirror, mirror, mirror. And this is the issue with that mirror. These effects that it causes, you know, with the objects just blending into their own reflection. Plus, too, what you see out in the distance, out in the far background, is even though the sun's not out, it's still illuminating the atmosphere back there, which is like a whiteout. And things will vanish within that whiteout too. It's almost like, you know, somebody walking into the well-lit room and just so much light, it blinds you. Put it to you this way: too much light blinds you, no light at all blinds you because you can't see in the dark, and then you have just the right amount of light to allow you to see. Right now we got just enough light to see right up to 3.5 miles. Anything past that, and look at that, after that boat went by, you can see its wakes moving, rising up above that mirror. And again, it's like taking a mirror at the edge of the water and just lifting it up on, say, like a 2-degree angle. And then everything beyond that gets cut off by that 2-degree angle. Matter of fact, I read an article one time about mirages where, you know, it was actually 2 scientists talking about this same thing, where people on this one island could see land further off in the distance certain times of the year, and in other times they couldn't see it at all. And they actually went out on a boat and found this island and said, yeah, there is an island here. And then other days, like I said, they couldn't see the island, so it was non-visible. And the way that they explained it was exactly that: putting a mirror down in front of you and raising it up 2 degrees, which anything within that 2-degree range is totally invisible. And anything, I mean, when you get farther and farther and farther back, right, what happens is, you know, due to perspective, everything gets real small. So the smaller that object got, the more it vanished behind that 2 degrees. You know, you can try to find that article. I looked for it for 2 years now, and I still cannot find that same article. So I don't know if it was taken out. I don't know. It's really weird that, you know, you can find something in the dictionary or in an article, and then you go back to find it and it's not there. That beeping you're hearing is my security camera, by the way. I have somebody walking out across my yard, which I know who it is, so I don't have to worry. And that's me getting a drink of lemonade, my favorite drink. So again, you know, a lot of times, people will say, well, why are you just sitting here? Look at the bird. Look at the reflection of the bird underneath. There's a mirror there. And again, this mirror earlier was causing that bottom rung or that bottom board on that bird rack to blend into the bottom board of its mirror. And now I've seen this bird rack look like there was only 4 slots on it. And then the mirror underneath it only looked like it had 4 slots on it. Well, what happened to the other 3? Again, it was blended into its own reflection, pulled down due to compression. And right now it is actually, almost looks like it's being stretched out. But look at the bottom. The bottom is what's compressed. Same way with the marker. That's marker number 1, by the way, of that bird rack. And it's a few hundred feet away from that bird rack, believe it or not. So it actually is closer. And then there's a pole right beside the bird rack. And that pole is right beside the bird rack. I have footage where I did go out and I measured that. I can't remember the exact measurements. But I know it is approximately 14 to 16 feet tall. Again, that can depend on the tides. If you got a high tide, it can come up to that bottom board or even past it if it's an extreme high. And that's one of the things that we get. You can get an extreme high and you can get an extreme low. Extreme low, you'll see rocks out there off in the distance with your own eyes that look like mountains. It looks like land out there. But I know for a fact that it's not land. It's really just rocks sticking up because I have fished this area for a long time, and that's why I was upset that I misidentified Billy Steele's rack. That is a grave error on my part. And I don't want to talk about it. I did correct the issue, and the only reason I found it was because of a comment that was made on my channel from Pine Island. They said it should have been to the right of Bayport. So when I got my navigation maps out and checked it, they were correct. It should have been to the right, and I was still claiming that what I thought was Billy Steele's was Billy Steele's, even in this video. But again, you watch the birds, you watch boats going by, you look at the mirroring effect going on with the poles, with the bird rack and that marker, and you say, well, where exactly is the horizon, or where exactly is the water? And I love seeing these birds fly right out of that mirror. Which, they're not coming out of the water. They're not taking off from the water. They're literally flying low to the water, blending into the mirror, and then flying back out. And I'm sorry, but I get the biggest kick out of that. And again, you can see these waves. That's why I think looking at these details and discerning them for yourself, how this all works. I mean, it's taken me a while to actually look at this concave convex mirror concept that I have, and it works perfectly. Where science will say that it's refraction pulling it up. Well, when I give this another explanation, or give another explanation of why things vanish on the horizon, I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of scientists that are going to disagree with me. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of globe believers that will disagree with me. But if they just open their eyes and look and watch with an open mind, they're going to have to kind of agree with me that this is hiding objects, especially when you take this and compare it to a lot of my other footage that shows boats well beyond this bird rack at even a lower perspective. because a lot of times I'm over at the other park, which is near this, not far from it. Matter of fact, if I zoom back, you'll see a little bit of land off to the right. I'm usually on that point, right there to the right. Yes, it is a little further out by a couple hundred yards, or maybe 100 yards, maybe a little bit more from where I'm located at right now. This mirroring effect is really a wonderful explanation of why things disappear. And I'm even, matter of fact, I even know that I'm going to have some globe people or flat earth people disagree with me on it. And I'm fine with it. If you don't agree with me and you disagree, then that means we just have two different opinions. But I can obviously see the water, and again, I've obviously done a lot of observations of this bird rack, not only from this location, but from the Pine Island location. I've been really doing a lot of observations from there. And Bayport Bird Rack is approximately about the same distance away, even though I'm 2 miles further north. I'm outward too a little bit further. But it should make, like Bill Watts should be further away than from Bayport. The Hernando Beach marker that I thought was Billy Steele's should actually be further away too, because I found footage from where I was on the islands, and I was looking, and I had zoomed in on that bird rack, and it was to the south of the Bill Watts rack, so it has to be further back. So if it's further back there to the south than from where I'm at further north, it would have to be that much further. Okay, so again, why am I just sitting here looking at this same bird rack? Well, if you put it in fast motion, sometimes you'll see this this change. In slow motion or in regular speed, it's a gradual change. Now, again, where I think this water line actually is not exactly in between the bird rack and its mirror image. It's actually just above its mirror image. Matter of fact, you can see the quivering water right there, and that is where that rack is, or the water line is on that rack. But everything beyond it is more water too. Matter of fact, like I said, I think that the true horizon line is actually above this rack. Due to perspective, like I say, that this rack is getting smaller and smaller, and I'm looking down at it, not up at it. I'm looking down. That's because there's more water above it. Then somebody would say, well, are you confirming concave Earth? No, I'm just confirming that because of angular resolution, you're only going to see it for so far. And due to perspective, this bird rack is smaller. Even though I am zoomed in on it with a zoom camera, that doesn't necessarily mean that that 6 foot would be right where that water's at. Okay, I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but after doing more and more observations and seeing what I have seen, also on days where the sun is back there and you can see this mirroring effect in the clouds, and you draw a line there, you can obviously see that there is more water back there, because that mirroring effect, you can split those clouds and find that where the center of those clouds is. But then again, like I say, you have to go to the bottom of the real image, so the bottom of the real clouds, before you get to that reflected or mirrored image underneath of the clouds. So the biggest portion of it would be the real clouds. So you have to draw a line just under the halfway point, and that's where you're going to find your true horizon. Now, again, I don't know if that makes sense. And again, I wasn't planning on talking all the way through this, but a gentleman come up and started talking to me, and I don't know, I just didn't think the conversation fit my video, so I kind of cut that out. All right, I cut the audio out, and I didn't want it to sit here and just be a what should I say, a silent movie. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and speed it up 50%, which would be about or 2 times. I'll speed it up 2 times, which would be about almost halfway of this video. So I'm actually making it talking, and then I'm going to split it. So it should be almost at the end of where I'm going to stop talking right about now. I think people get tired of me talking. Okay, I got a little bit more room to talk, but you can obviously see this, how this water is changing, how it changes that whole mirroring effect down below, how it changes its reflection. So again, this is something that you have to look at, and you really have to pay attention to those details. Now you see where the birds will fly down and vanish right behind this, what appears to be the actual visible water. But again, I think it's that light propagation up off the water that helps create this mirroring effect beyond. All right. So now I'm going to get back to some of the original audio. Hopefully I don't have to talk anymore, and you can watch the rest of the video.
That's some crazy shit.
How you doing? Not very much.
Alright, I'm gonna break in here again. As you notice that the mirroring in front of the boat vanished, but look at the mirror, or in front of the bird rack vanished, but look at the mirroring still going on beyond it. Especially when the birds get down there low, you can see that they'll vanish within that mirroring again. So this mirror extends way out there today because of this atmospheric conditions. But like I said before in the beginning of the video, that you cannot get away from this mirroring effect. It occurs at all times, whether it's close to me or whether it's far away. You will always have it. And see, that's the problem that most people do not see. They don't see a lot of things like I see it. And even some of the flat earthers don't see it the way I see it. They'll disagree with me about this atmospheric mirroring. But I don't care. I'm going to stick to this because I really believe that this is what occurs, especially with buildings that look like they're, cut off at the bottoms. It's actually not getting cut off. It's being compressed, number one. And number two, that land is hidden in that mirroring area, or the lower portion of it is hidden within that mirror. And again, anything in that mirror would be compressed at that long distance, at 3.5 miles. This bird rack isn't being compressed much, but it actually could be being magnified a little bit. That's a possibility, because I do believe that magnification is possible. I can't. I mean, I think I have some video that really does show magnification, because I have zoomed up on this bird rack in some of my videos, and it really, the bird rack took up the whole screen. And man, I'm gonna have to dig through my files and find one of those, and then show that with a comparison video of, on a day of really good visibility, where you don't even have this this waving reaction that's going out there. You see that like a heat wave. And they say, well, this whole bird rack is a mirage. It's not really there. It's on the other side of the curve. Well, now, no. I don't believe that. I don't believe it, because at a certain point, I can see that bird rack with my own eyes when I'm in my boat. And my boat is a flats boat, and no, it doesn't have a big tower that I can stand on that I can see higher, or from a higher perspective. I'm just hoping that I get some people that are interested in this mirroring effect watch this video. I could say this because not many people are going to watch it, but my view count is shit, and that is depressing to me. That's what makes me feel like all my observation have been in vain. Because I'm out here trying to investigate things on my own. The trolls, every time I make a comment on another person's video, the trolls come in and attack me and tell me that that's all you just learn everything from YouTube. No, because like I said, I was very skeptical when I first got into this, and my original thing was to go out and debunk flat earth because I thought it was going to be easy. But it was just literally the mirroring effect that made me go out and do more observations. And like I say, on some days where something isn't visible, I go out there on another day and it's plainly visible. There's no miraging going on, no mirroring going on. It's just the bird rack sitting way out there in the distance. Especially the one that I always thought was Billy Steele's is like 7.8 miles from Pine Island. Now, or not from Pine Island, from Bayport. And then I go over to Pine Island and I film that bird rack, which again, it would be further because I'm 2 miles north. It'd be further away from me, but yet I can see that same bird rack at 28 inches. At 28 inches, people above the water. Now, how can this be that I'm seeing something, 7.8 miles away? Actually, I think it's further. I'm going to say 9.8 miles away. At 28 inches, I shouldn't even be able to see the wreck at all. And for somebody to tell me that it's refraction pulling it up, well, I don't believe so. I don't care if you're using bottles, cups, whatever to try to prove that refraction does occur. I know light bends, but I don't think objects are going to get pulled up from behind the curve and then laid out perfectly flat out in front of you where they pretty much should be. The song "I Can See for Miles and Miles and Miles," on a clear day they can see the Taj Mahal. That's pretty crazy. Now you can start seeing this mirroring occurring again. It's like the mirror is coming toward me. Because now you see the bottom board mirroring just above that visible water. Now again, science is going to say that, oh no, you're wrong, Mr. Wide Awake or David. That ain't so. This whole thing right here is being refracted back up from beyond the curve, buddy. You better believe me, I'm more educated than you. I've got 3 degrees in this and 3 degrees in that. And man, I've studied this all my life. Well, you studied what they told you to believe in, buddy. Not go out and do it and observe it yourself. Again, one guy said, well, the best example that I seen of refraction was done with propane. Done with propane, people, that has a different effect than what our natural air does. I mean, number one, it's an ice cold air mass, which basically can create a mirror above an object, which can give you a reflection from something down below. Now, we're not getting this right now. Now, when you get the Fata Morgana, now that is a different effect, and yeah, that is an above mirror, but what it's mirroring is something that's visible. I mean, you can see the actual boat with the inverted boat above it, and with mine, you see the inverted boat below it, or bird rack. So look at all the different descriptions they have for a mirage, the definitions. And then again, one would say, don't believe your eyes. Well, I guess we shouldn't not only believe our eyes, but we shouldn't believe what science tells us either. Because science is telling us a bunch of bullshit about refraction pulling objects up. It's not pulling the object up. It's just taking what we do see and dragging it downward. It's more of a downward refraction than an upward refraction. Now, I was talking to a Glober, and he agrees that, you can have downward refraction, but he's stuck on the ball. He's stuck on that merry-go-round, and he's not going to let it go. And he told me he's not going to let it go, which is absolutely fine. Again, I'm not out here to make anybody believe me. I'm out here to just show my observations and let you judge for yourself. Yes, I give you my opinion, my explanation, but you don't have to believe it. Go out and do your own observations, and or even look at mine and give yourself your own explanation. But as far as it being a globe, a spinning ball, nope, I'm not buying it. All right, let's see if I don't. Hopefully, I don't have to talk. I think I'm just going to let the rest of this conversation go. Go back to the regular audio, and that's it. I'm going to end the video after about 30 more minutes.
People swimming out there. Holy shit. Out for the sharks, people. Try to find this other boat out here. I barely see him. off the tripod to change it. So, I don't know what this rain's gonna do, so I might want to watch myself. Mirroring in, mirroring out. Now here, let me show you something real quick. Watch this. And here's my sticks in the ground again. My tree branch. Ha! Bayport bird rack again. camouflages like a liquid mirror. Touchy. Got himself a fish. got him a nice fish. Look at that bad boy splashing. You can see where the water's at. Oh my goodness. Like those apples. What do you do, lose them? I think he lost his fish. halfway mark again. On the edge. Track. We'll go after this one over here. Got about a minute left and I'm pretty much done. Get some more of them birdies.